Welcome back to Blog Access 101. I'm your host, Young Abachi. Remember, subscribe to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify by searching Blog Access 101. This is episode 252 for our second part of Women in Sports segment. We're here today with Emily Heineman, Eagles Communications Coordinator, Staci Golden, Director and General of Premium Sales for the Florida Panthers, and Vonora Lewis was the founder of VL Foundation and then the head of NBA Concept of Ambush. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Great. Thank you for having us.
No problem. I guess we'll start off going from Emily to Golden to Venora. Emily, just give a brief introduction of who you are and what you're currently doing.
Yeah,
Sports.
so like you said, I'm a communications coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. I originally got my start in sports in undergrad at Auburn University, working in their communications department. Did a little bit of work on the event management side before moving into the communications side. I moved to Philadelphia after as an associate communications, and then went to NASCAR briefly doing track communications, and then came back to Philadelphia full time as a communications coordinator.
Stacy.
Hello. So we got a little bit of I don't know what Rona's going to say, but I got a little SEC competition going on. So I went to the University of Florida. Go Gators. Yeah. We can still be friends, Emily. Uh, but I went to the University of Florida, graduated with a sports admin degree with a minor in business. I had the opportunity to have an internship with the Florida Panthers. So that's how I started my career. I did my internship there, and honestly, the rest is history. I then got an opportunity to be in the NFL with the Miami Dolphins. So I go Eagles. Look, Eagles is my number two team, but Dolphins are number one. So I worked the Miami Dolphins, and then I had the opportunity to take my career to the NBA and work with the Miami Heat. From there, I went to the MLS and worked with the Colorado Rapids. And from soccer, I decided to come back to South Florida. It was a little cold, so I wasn't ready for the winters in Colorado. Came back and went to the NBA and then also to the Florida Panthers. So full circle moment for me. So started as an intern, then joined the Florida Panthers as the director of premium memberships and services. So my entire career has been retention and service. So my focus is just making sure we keep everyone happy, keep the members coming back and signing contracts, and ensuring that they have a affinity and a loyalty to the brand. So service and retention is what I do. That's the name of the game, and that's my sports career from the Gators to now hockey.
Talk that talk. Venora.
Wow, you ladies are phenomenal. My whole path was significantly different. I went to Xavier University of Louisiana, number three HBCU. I'm going to shout out my school. And then from there, I started a program at Villanova University. It was like a sports management and sports law program. And from that point, I started writing, and I got my whole sports career off of Twitter. I was just writing and arguing with people about different teams. I am a diehard Giants fan. Yep, you all can shout out to you, Emily, for being an Eagles fan. So I have taken it from writing to then going on different radio shows to then becoming a podcaster and then joining a network. And I started covering the NBA as a writer, and then I started covering the NFL as a writer. And from there, I have grown into different networks and just been as an on-air personality on the radio and on the podcasting. So that's how I went from studying pre-law to then going to being a part of sports.
I love that. Awesome.
Yeah, so we start with just go left to right. Emily, so what or who's has got you into sports?
Yeah, so one thing that I didn't jump into in my introduction is a small thing that I did in undergrad was working with our club hockey team. And so that was really how I got my start and when I decided that I wanted to pursue it as a career. I grew up a huge hockey fan and having the opportunity to just put on games with my friends, run their social media, doing stats, all of that, and just create this experience for people in the South that may not have been exposed to hockey as much as we had. I just fell in love with it and I wanted to be able to keep, putting on games and helping that entire business operation flow through my career and just really spending like making those connections and making impacts on people's lives. Um, I always think working in sports is a really cool opportunity because you kind of have a platform that a lot of other people in their careers don't, just because it touches on so many lives. So being able to be a part of that, wanted to do that forever. My dad always said, you know, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I've always felt that with sports.
Definitely real, especially at work. You know, cruising tomorrow. I've been dealing with communication before, so you gotta love it because if you don't, it's gonna it's just gonna be dreadful. And you're like, damn, I don't have no life.
Exactly.
Okay. Stacy.
For me, I am my mother's child. Shout out to my mom. She loves sports. Like she loves, breathe it. I'm a product of her. Ever since I was a little girl, like her team is the LA Lakers and the Miami Dolphins. I just remember like every whatever it was, March Madness, basketball, football, like we'll go do all, the fun stuff. We'll go shopping, but then we gotta come back for tip off. We gotta be back for kickoff. That's just how life went. My whole family loves sports. My dad, he's a pro golfer from Bermuda, so it's just like I just grew up in it. And I was like, I love this. I cannot play it, but I want to be involved in it in any way possible. And that's just what I did. So I grew up in the town, Friday night lights, Friday nights, everyone's getting ready to go to the football games. And I was a cheerleader, but a guy would score a touchdown and I would run to the opposite end of the field. And my coach is like, where are you going? Like, we're cheering. I'm like, no, I'm running with him. Like, touchdown, touchdown, let's go. So I always got in trouble. So I just wanted to find my piece in it. I really didn't know what that looked like. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to UF and I want to major in sports management and just figure it out, honestly. And that's it. I grew up in it and love it. And I just want to have it a part of my career and a part of my life and make those moments. So as far as being into the service and retention side and the sales side of it, I just kind of fell into that because my internship with the Florida Panthers was in premium service. So I had a woman, National Women's Day. I love telling the story. She gave me an opportunity. She said it's okay. I was like, I don't know about hockey. I don't know what this is. I'm a country girl, like from the small town, 1,000 people. What, you want me to come here? She's like, yeah, I got you. I'll show you the ropes. And again, she did exactly that, and that really started my career. So from my family to me just loving it to okay, knowing I wanting to be in it, and then getting that first opportunity for me to see what was possible is kind of what got me started in my career.
Pretty lit. And then you say your dad played golf. You do be golfing or?
Yeah, he's still. I got to talk to him today. I was like, "Where are you doing?" He's like, "I'm going golfing." I was like, "Sure you are." Last week was it last week? Maybe a couple weeks ago. He got a hole in a one at this golf course that hasn't happened. So like, yeah, he still does the golf thing. Don't ask me to pick up a golf club.
No, I mean it's fine. It's like it's good for like business because I just started picking up like a few years ago, and what I've learned is like a lot of people like I used to be like I'm not messing with golf. People probably playing it for 30 plus years, but then I go out there, these people play for 30 plus years and it's terrible. I'm like, all right, I don't feel too bad no more. Like,
With major handicaps. Yeah, my dad told me that. He was like, "Stacey, you gotta play golf. Business deals on." I said, "Dad, nah, you got it. I'll just take you with me. You play golf, I talk, work."
no, that's real. It's fun though. Like just as long as you go out there, you don't care. It's fine. When you start taking it serious, that's when it don't become fun anymore. But but yeah, Vonora.
So similar to the lovely young lady who just spoke, I grew up in a family that was diehard sports fans. We're from New York, especially New York City. So we're Knicks and Yankees and Rangers fans. That's what's always on. And of course, the Yankees. We watch every game. I've seen my dad break quite a few things because of the Giants, because of the Knicks. So I grew up watching lots of pain, but I just thought it was so much fun, just how we all came together to watch our Knicks lose the most important games ever, and we just kept watching. And from there, I just really, I went to undergrad because I wanted to become an attorney to work for the NFL. I wanted to be one of those people that were, yep, we're getting sued. I'm part of the team that's gonna make sure that we don't lose football. But I made that change because it just wasn't the right fit. And I met a few people that was just like, oh man, I would hate to work in this industry this way. So I wanted to switch it. And that's when I actually met the owner of Ambush Sports Network. And he actually said, hey, I'm going to give you your first writing job. And I was like, well, I got a bachelor's in history, pre-law, and English and business. I might as well, right? So, and I started falling in love writing, and I still write to this day, just different type of writing. But that was just the way my entrance in, and from there, I love talking smack again with the New York City girls. So that just made it easier for me.
Awesome.
The Knicks fans a little crazy. But you guys are doing pretty well this year. I give y'all that.
That's
Y'all knocked
all.
us
Give
out
us our
last year in the
credit.
first round. Huh?
Give us our credit when the credit is due.
Oh yeah. I mean, y'all doing pretty well. So y'all probably make it to maybe the Eastern Conference Finals and losing to Boston. But you guys are doing
Nah,
pretty well.
see, now you trying to start something on.
Just being
Not what it's
honest.
about.
It got real ugly for LA last night when they played Boston in the second half. But yeah, and that's pretty. Yeah, and I always say it's always key to ask people in the field that's been in the field for a long time, like ask their honest opinion, is to see what they say, just to see like this is the right area. But a lot of times people try to sugarcoat stuff because they don't want you to deter you. But I always tell people just like be 100% honest. That's definitely me in academia because I was always on the fence of like get my PhD because I'm a person that always hated school. Do the bare minimum work, get it done, and still have a GPA. And my parents would look like, how is he doing all this work done and he'll never bring any books home? It's just but so now my mentor finally swayed me to get like a PhD, and I was just like, I asked him like people like, yeah, what do you think? And he was like, they was like, yeah, it's gonna be like a strenuous progress process, but you'll get as long as you like stay focused, you get it done. So that's why I was thinking, especially in sports, to figure out like what do you want to do, and then ask these people that's already in the field for like I say, but 10 plus years, and get their insight on like how they're able to navigate it, as well as have a healthy work-life balance. Because I always feel like that's very crucial, particularly in sports, because sometimes, especially communications, and then Staci, I know you, but I would premium service. That's like year round. Just trying to bring people back and get new people because I had a couple people from Carolina try to get me to get retention there, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know because I don't really because I was trying to get into like stadiums like the suites, and they probably start like doing like the with the PSL license. But I looked at like the prop return on investment. I was like, yeah, I'm not really messing with this right now. But so that's pretty cool. Like sometimes I ramble a little bit, but it's pretty cool. Let's see, next one. Yeah. All right. So you just talked about a little bit, but talk about your career path from the job that got you to industry and to what the job you're currently doing now. Emily.
Yeah, so my very first position, outside of the hockey stuff that kind of started around the same time, I was an event management student worker at Auburn University. At the time, I was studying public relations. Event management was really nothing what I wanted to do, but I wanted to get started in sports, and it was the first opportunity I had, and I felt like I should take it. But everything that I learned as a student worker in event management has just followed me all throughout my career. Um, I feel like a lot of people that go into sports, they really start anywhere that they can to get their foot in the door until they start being selective and trying to pursue like a specific route. But yeah, so I started in event management. Um, this is around the time that networking really started to show how valuable it was, and just talking to different people around the department, um, getting to know them. I started letting them know, I'm pursuing a degree in PR. I really want to go into sports communications, but I really want to learn more about it. And one of my directors actually said, hey, let me set up a meeting with somebody else in our department, in our communications department, and you can learn about what they do, and who knows, maybe they'll have an internship available for you. So that's exactly what I did. I reached out to someone in the athletic communications department at Auburn, sat down with them, and after the meeting, I was just hooked. I knew that was exactly what I wanted to do. And I reached out to her. Her name was Kendra. She made a big difference in my life in sports. So, again, coming off of International Women's Day and National Girls and Women's in Sports Day a few weeks ago. Shout out to Kendra. But she I reached out to her after my first semester working in event management and asked if she had any internships available. And she said, you know what, I do. Why don't you come on? And for a while, I was actually working double. I was doing event management on the weekends and communications during the week. And I just was obsessed with it. And from there, started doing even more with the hockey team and really just getting involved anywhere that I could in sports around campus. And once again, networking really paid off. And someone from the Eagles reached out to Kendra and said, hey, we're hiring for our associate position. Do you have anyone that you might recommend? and she sent it to me. And the rest of it is just history, you know? And now I'm here in Philadelphia full time. I'm loving everything that I do, loving every second of it, and learning a ton every day. But like I said, everything that I learned in my event management years and even just as a little intern in Auburn athletics has still followed me to where I am now.
Sure, it's like the great, like, with the mentorship as well as, network, when the Eagles reached out to like Kendra, she was able to, give your name drop your name because the hard work you put in. How did you like doing like transcribing all those post game interviews? Did you enjoy that part?
That's definitely not my favorite thing to do, but it's part of the job and it's a good skill to have. So it does give you an opportunity, even though it's a little bit tedious and maybe not the most fun thing in the world, to really dive deeply into what players and coaches are saying in their press conferences, which helps me in other areas of my job. So I always feel very informed being even a part of just like the little tedious jobs that you might not want to do. Helps me everywhere else.
Stacy?
I touched on a little bit previously, but just I will say this. I kind of fell into this opportunity for me to be in service and retention. I at the time when I went to college, I said I was going to be an agent, right? But there wasn't a blueprint, right? Women weren't really agents during that time. And I really didn't have anyone to show me the way. So as I stated, when I went to I came into South Florida or a career fair because I needed to have an internship as a requirement for me to finish at University of Florida. So it was a requirement. You have to do an internship before you graduate. So I came to South Florida, went to this career fair at the arena at that time. And I will tell her name is Raven Jemison. Amazing. She is now the president of the Kansas City Current, doing great things. But she gave me the opportunity and hired me as an intern and showed me retention and premium service. And from there, I gained appreciation and love for it and saw like what my part could be in sports. So I've been on that path ever since. So again, networking comes into place. Sports world is a small community, right? Everyone kind of knows everyone. So internship ended and they was like, hey, Stacey, you're awesome, but it just happened like we don't have a position for you to hire you full time, but let's find something for you or help you because you are awesome. So that's how I got my job at the Miami Dolphins in the NFL. So I applied for it, got it, and then I started as a representative on the premium service side. So again, retention, and it just evolved from there. And I loved it. I love understanding there's another way for me to be a part of sports and give back, and which is a very integral part of an organization. Like you need fans, right? And at the time at the Dolphins, that was the first customer service team in the entire industry. So I was a part of something major. The owner was Wayne Huizenga, and he was like, "Hey, we need somebody to come in and build relationships and have customer service. No one in the team has that." So once again, him being the two steps ahead of everything, Wayne, because if you know Wayne Huizenga, he started the Marlins, he started the Dolphins, he started the Panthers, everything except the Heat. So all sports team in South Florida was Wayne Huizenga. So of course, he comes with a great concept of we need to have a service team. So I was a part of the first service team in the industry. So that to me was just remarkable. It was like I want to keep doing this. And long story short, every team now has a retention and service team that just focus strictly on service. So that's how I found my mark, and it just kept going from there. Like I said, Colorado Rapids did the same thing. Miami Heat was a part of the service team, and my career just evolved from there. Because it takes a lot to keep. We are the core, we are the nucleus inside the organization, keeping everyone happy, ensuring that they get everything they need, fulfilling the terms of the agreements, etc. So that's kind of how my career started in sports, and the person who gave me an opportunity.
Definitely, retention is definitely a main thing because like you said, if you don't have people in the stands, you're kind of feeling like obviously people just think sports is more people now seen as just business side as well. But yeah, if you don't not bringing in stands, retention, bringing back those fans and engagement, as well as also bringing in that money, it's going to be an issue for your franchise, particularly your owner, because he's like, who I need to fire because y'all not making me money. So it's like,
yeah, like we weather all the storms, right? Regardless what happens on the court, regardless what happens on the ice, on the field, we have to keep this membership base whole. So it digs deeper into understanding the member, what they need, what they're looking for, and providing value to their membership so that they want to be a part of it. And it's not just a ticket. So now it's becoming this lifestyle. Now it's part of this 365 membership. So yes, you come to the game and that's the main thing you're buying, but what are you getting? You're getting access to the players. You're getting access to the exclusive events. You're getting access to all these pre-sales and opportunities to get playoff tickets before anyone else. So you create this lifestyle. And that's what's important, in whatever team that I've been with, whether I am an intern, whether I was a rep to where I'm at now as a director, you go out into those stands. And when the members and when a team is sold out, we had something to do with that environment, and we fill the building up to support the team. And as you said, that equates to money, to revenue. But how I look at it is my team, and we had a big part of this and to fill this thing out.
So like with the fan engagement, because once the fans feel like they're part of the team, that makes them lock in more, be even want to be more enhanced with the team, especially. I mean, obviously you and Emily are on two winning teams, but some of the teams that might be still rebuilding. I know it might be a little bit hard for them to retain, but just try to get them engaged with the team, like talking about some of the star players and just try to keep them engaged. Like I said, I don't want to keep going back to Carolina Panthers, but obviously they're a struggling franchise right now. Hopefully they get it together. But you got a bright future, a bright shining light. He's finally turned the corner, so that's might be a way how easy helping people retain some fans. Carolina Panthers, like, bright future. So yeah.
Yeah, winning helps now. Winning helps. So right now, but when they don't, oh yeah, better get ready. That's when that relationship comes in, right?
Vonora?
Well, first I want to say, Ashley and Emily, your guys' journeys are beautiful. Like I'm just sitting here like, wow, you guys had like the internship and just making those right connections. I'm just sitting here just like, man, I wish I did that because that's not what happened over here.
I was gonna say you can still do it because I admire you as well. Like what you're doing now. So no, we admire you too for sure.
Thank you. I love sisterhood, so that's my thing. So we gotta look out for each other.
That's right.
So I also was trying to be an agent after college. I was like, you know what? Let me just give my last $2,500 and I moved to DC and I was like, okay, let's do this. I was actually I was in a law program. I was in my master law program at University of Maryland and Regent University. So I was like, you know what? I'm good at studying. Let me just study and become an agent. And I thought that was going to be it. Man, I failed that test twice by one question. So I was like, okay, this is just not it. And I'm not doing that 2,500. It's just not going to give. So after that point, I was like, well, I love talking about sports. I love using my Twitter page. So I started talking about sports on Twitter. And I'll never forget it because I got into this really weird debate with this man about the Chiefs at the time. It's like 2017 Chiefs. This is before Pat Mahomes. This is when they were just sorry. So I was just like going off, and he was just like a diehard Chiefs fan. He's like, "You're a stupid woman. You don't know about sports." I was like, what? And I went from there. We just went at it. And after that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be." And like a bunch of women in the comments were like, girl talk, and all this stuff. I was like, you know what? I want to do this. And I started outsourcing how to start a podcast. And then that's what had me looking to the podcast realm. But then I was like, this is a bunch of money. I'm broke, lost in it. I can't do this. So then I started writing. And then that's when from writing, I got picked up from different people. Josh Moselle, he's the first man that said, you know what? I want to pay you to write. Before I was just writing for free, and I was like, this is whack. So I was writing for free, but I enjoyed it though. But he was the first one to give me the opportunity, and then from there, he gave me the opportunity to actually cover games, go to different things. At the time, that was I think it was the AFL. One of those spring football leagues were here, and at the time he said, "I want you to cover this game. I want to send you here." So I was like, "Okay, we're making our little step by step," and then from there, my new network, MTMV Sports, picked me up and they just were like, they want to talk to me about the Odell trade again, diehard Giants fan, heartbroken, but at the same time, I was okay. And then from there, that's what I got into sports and I started making the podcast and I was like able to then talk to women and talk to people in sports. And then I got to have the opportunity to tell my friends who actually got drafted, come on, and I could be like, I always took the homegirl approach because again, sorry y'all, I'm from New York. I'm a homegirl. I was like, And it's like the conversations felt great from the football players to some of the college basketball players I talked to even the female basketball players. I got to talk to a lot of them. Again, my best compliment was, girl, it was like talking to my sister. And that made me feel amazing because that's how I want people to feel when I talk to them. So then from there, I just kept on podcasting, kept on getting on these little radio things here and there. And yeah, that's just how it all started.
That's awesome.
Pretty
Real
cool. You know,
grassroots.
you gotta love the idiots that love talking crazy on social media, and none of them probably ever played any type of sports, or if they did, they were
Okay.
bench warmers. And I've been looking at those guys like, bro, you can't be talking crazy, and you over there like you 400 pounds. Like, please sit down, bro. But
Thank you. I was like,
Everybody thinks
like we're not doing that.
everybody thinks they're GM. Like when it's all said and done, like no.
then they do these fantasy sports, and their team goes like have 2 wins out of 12, and it's like, bro, see, this shows you that you don't know what you're talking about. Just sit down, and just watch the sports.
Exactly.
But I'm also glad that someone gave you recognized and gave you a first page experience with writing, because a lot of time we're writing articles like that, they try to get you for free ball, free labor. So it's good that he took the step to where I'm going to pay you. So that was a good thing for him to do. Which leads me to my next topic, dealing with like allyship between men and women. How important do you think that is? And I'll start with Emily again.
I think it's really important, especially as more and more women start to break into the sports world. I think men that recognize that women belong here and can do what they can to be allies for women in this field are really important. The more and more women that come into, Vonora mentioned sisterhood, and I think that's a huge part of it. Other women in sports, looking out for each other and helping them kind of find their way, but also the men that recognize that we should be here being allies and standing up for us, making sure our voices are heard. I think all of it goes hand in hand.
And I was talking with Dr. Smith yesterday. It was like it's very important, like having more women in the boardroom making the decisions, so that you can bring more revenue to women's sports. Because if you have someone that looks just like you, they're going to look out for you more. Not saying that men don't, but we know for sure that women are advocating for have women's sports to have their growth, and a few men as well. Obviously, it still needs to be a lot more, but definitely get more women in the leadership roles and in the boardroom making these decisions for specifically for these women's sports as well as
Absolutely. And
men's
I
sports.
think I think as many different perspectives as you can get in a room, the better decisions and the better results that you're going to get in the end.
Yeah, because you got a lot of the good old boy club. Everybody's old and you're making decisions, and then like you don't really know what's best for women. Even as we can see, I don't want to get too political, but you can see politicals today with down south, cutting down abortion. It's like, bro, you don't know what a woman do with their body. Like, how you gonna make decisions about something you don't know about, which is crazy. But here we are, 2025.
Yes, here we are. Allyship, allyship is important. I can say over my career, so I've been in the game for 18 years. I will say I've been very fortunate to have, men support me in my career in these positions. So like now we're starting to see the evolution of women in sports over the past couple of years, like right now, my VP is a woman. I've never had a woman VP. I've never reported to a woman. But over the course of my career, I've had men who see me, knew what my goals were, knew what my aspirations were, and actually supported me in mentioning my names in the room and saying that, okay, Staci, I see you. You can do this. Here, I want you to take on this project. I want you to lead this meeting. I want you to present to the senior leadership team. Come to this meeting with me so you can see how to navigate these conversations. And that was important because if I didn't have that, I don't know if I'll be, where I am today with men supporting me, that and the allyship. So also I can say that some of my female sisterhood, they can't say or relate to my experience. So in addition to needing it to help us evolve, because we have to do this together, we can't do this divided. If you don't have it, get with like your friends or men who do support you and let them know how to navigate the conversation with your leadership that do not see you. So they may not know what it looks like, but you may have to tell them when you go to this meeting and you don't include me or you don't put me on that email, or if I've told you, hey, this is my aspirations, this is my goal, and they're not helping you support it, call it out. you got to have difficult conversations and say, hey, I feel like you're not including me here, or I feel like you're making all decisions and you're not listening to me, etc. Or you taking all my ideas and presenting them and not giving me my credit. Like, you may have to call them out. So, like I said, I've been fortunate enough to have the support, but I've also seen, my friends or say like, I'm having a hard time. They're not, I'm being excluded, etc. You got to have those hard conversations as well. But it's so important. And the more that you give us opportunity, or, we'll say a seat at the table, and you see how great we are, then you're gonna keep having us a seat at a table because we are dope, and it takes all of us. I always like to say, like, when I hire someone on my team, they're like, "Oh, I don't know anything about sports." That's okay. I don't need to know about sports. I need to know how to do this job. I need to know how to build relationships. I can teach you the game. You need to know how to build relationships. I need to know how to service. I need you to have listening and all those things that make a great service person, and then we can build on the rest. So I have people from Disney that can bring a Disney perspective. I don't need everybody in sports. We're doing the same thing. I have, service and banking because it all makes everything great involved. So I say the same thing, like, it's so important. We need it, and let's do it together.
You brought a great point about the sports. A lot of people think you got to be a sports fan or anything. But actually, Ali, you guys can attest to this. When you're working in sports, I know, Emily, you're working with PR and communications. Obviously, you might be watching a little bit. For the most of the time, you're preparing for the post-game interviews, making sure everybody's fine in the press box. And then with Staci, I know you're dealing with making sure everybody's happy with the food and drinks, and then in the suites and everything, watching the games. So, like, a lot of people think like you come into sports, you're going to be watching the game. I tell some of my students that's the farthest thing from the truth. Half the time, you're not even going to be watching the game, and you're going to be running around with your head cut off, doing something to make sure either client or you're making sure like everybody's doing fine, or with PR, making sure everybody's fine in press box and everything they're custom what they need for the post game interviews. So, I feel like that was great to let them know, like, I don't need you to know about sports. You really, really probably don't care. Like, as long as you be able to, like, adapt and focus and, work hard and build a relationship. So that was, a good point.
To help, yes. Like I said, I can teach you the game.
Yeah.
That's the easy part. I can teach you the X's and O's, but I can't teach you certain things. So if you have the basis, then let's go.
Appreciate you, Vonora.
I think it's like I'll piggyback on both of the ladies that spoke. I think it's necessary. We have to have that partnership with men, and it's unfortunate. I would say unfortunate because you have to, because that's the only way really to get in the game the way you want to. Because I could say, my network, I started out as the only female, and again, people don't take no mess. So I talk. I don't have no problem with it. And then they would be like, "You're so aggressive." I was like, "I'm gonna teach you a different way to talk to me. I'm not aggressive. I'm passionate, just like you are.
Yeah.
You gotta teach them how to be around you. You feel me? So there's stuff like that. Like, I think it's important though to have the balance, because again, just like Ashley said, every person gave an opportunity was a man. So they had to see me, who I am, and to be able to do what I do. And now I know, my network, we're growing and we're having more women join. That treating all the women like people. Let's treat us like people. That's all we really want. Like, we all like sports. We all have Ashley said, we all come with a different piece. So just let's all work together to make either our network grow or continue to push the narratives that we're trying to push, or continue to cover games we want to cover. So that has to be a teamwork effort. And it's not, for me, I will say, and he knows that, I tell him all the time, the person in my network, he is kind of like, it's my way or the highway. But I'm like, well, your way didn't get your team. Us as a group, guys, that's the team. So like, going forward, let's work together.
Absolutely.
But I always feel like it's important, like you want to say, you want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together. So I feel like that's a testament to sports as well, with partnerships and branding. You always, if you can't be in every room at one time. So you got to be able to, when you build that network, people can talk for you when you not have to be there, and then that's how you get these jobs. People, like, random people looking at you on LinkedIn. You like, where are these schools coming from, and or teams coming from at this point, and and then you realize like people like talking to you and about you in the room when you're not there, which is always a good thing. But that's obviously a testament to your hard work. Which brings me to my next question. I know you touched about a little bit, Stacy, where you're saying like your friends couldn't attest to that, which you have in an allyship. Some things I've learned over the years, but women I work with, even in academia or in sports, they talk about how like sometimes like women see them as competition rather than allies. And at first I was like, damn, that's crazy. But then I'm like, I kept hearing it more, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's not crazy, because I just like, maybe it's just me, like just thinking like obviously like it's not a lot of women in sports. There's still a number still growing. So I feel as though when another woman see a woman, like typically with men, we see each other like, oh, okay, let's try to bring this person in, especially if they're younger or older. But I was like, okay, that's maybe unfortunately women don't get that. Most women don't get that luxury. So maybe I guess we start with Emily. You can let me know if you ever had any issues with that or your thoughts on that.
I wouldn't exactly say competition. Well, I guess so. I don't have any like strong experiences with that. I've only been in this a couple of years. I've definitely had experiences though working with men, not necessarily in the organization, just because the people I work with are awesome, but reporters and external vendors that they see me and they're expecting someone completely different, and they don't really take me seriously, you know. I'm young, I'm a woman, and they they think I'm basically an intern, or that I'm just writing down notes for my boss, you know, when I'm the one coordinating it. I'm the one that's been in communication with them over email, whatever. But you know, they speak to me as if they're speaking through me, you know, tell your boss this, tell your boss that. Well, I'm the one that has set this up. I'm the reason that we're working together right now. But they just don't take me seriously. So that is definitely something that I've been working on. And, you know, you try not to take it personally, try not to let it frazzle you or anything like that. Keep a cool head. But I can definitely say it's frustrating and it does exist, the biases that are out there.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta check people like Nike. So just do it from time to time, and they'll get the message. Stacy.
I would say, yeah, it's one of those things where no one really talks about it, right? We always talk about women empowerment. We gotta support each other, gotta have which is very true, and I'm fully in support of that. But everyone's not on that, even though they say they are. Let's call it what it is. And I've experienced mean girls in this space, in this industry, and you just can't let it stop you. You got to keep pushing, keep moving, and just really depend on and rely on those women who that fully support you wholeheartedly and really practice what they preach. So regardless of my negative experiences with women, sometimes when you are that woman in the space and they have the title or they have the attention of the room, they don't want to share it. But that's not necessary, because we all can be great and we all can help each other. There doesn't have to be one woman at the table. It can be several of us making an incredible impact, or support one. Let's say, hey, I am the only one at the table, but what do you need me to say on your behalf? So your message can be heard, because we're doing this together, right? There doesn't need to be one. So I've experienced that, but I be what I'll say. I am what I try to emulate what I want. Like, I want to emulate the supportive empowerment sisterhood. So that's what I'm going to be, and that's how I'm going to move. Regardless of whatever negative experience happened around me, that doesn't change me and what I want to do and what in practicing what I preach. So just don't let it impact it negatively. If you see that, then say, hey, sis, then this is not going to work. But I'm going to keep moving, and I'm going to keep being what I want to see, and the sisterhood and the empowerment that I talk about. But if any woman is like that, it's not necessary, because all of us can help each other, and we're supposed to help pull each other up so that we can be in a space together and create change and move forward.
Definitely what you guys talk about, like, obviously, if you deal with people like that, don't get like bitter. A lot of times some people might be like, oh, okay, this is not what I expected. Then they like, curl up or get frustrated, where you, like you talked about, you got to like stay locked in. Just be like, all right, that's that person's problem, it's not mine. Like, I know what I want to be, and I know how I want to be treated. So, you just keep doing, becoming better for yourself. And so when you get in that position, where obviously what you are, you can help out the next younger girl in the industry that might just be having issues or struggling or dealing with some issues like that. And you can kind of like mentor and guide her through everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Vonora?
I have been through this competition thing every aspect of my life, from from undergrad, grad school, and in my professional life. Absolutely. It's unfortunate, because I am a girl's girl. So I'm always trying to like help out any female, or help out any person personally that needs something. But no, it's there. It's very relevant, especially I'll say in the DMV area. it's crazy how like you be like, oh man, like just simple things like, oh my God, let's catch out your content, look it down. Oh, okay. Oh, I was like, okay, that's how we on it. That's how I look at it. And it just made me sad. I was like, okay, well, I guess guess we're not brunching or we're never gonna connect that way. But I just keep it looking like, those that feel those ways and they feel like they have to be the best, you have to be the only one to do something. I kind of pity those people because that must be a very lonely situation. Because that means you are isolating yourself from everybody because you're the only one that can do whatever that is. And I'm just looking like, but the sad part is, I say it's all time at work too. You die, they put your position up on Indeed in like a week. That's all they do. You send your family some flowers, and then guess what? You're not the only one, mama. So it's just like instead of looking at it like that, um, like I don't get angry about it. I just kind of like, dang, that sucks for her. Well, back to what I'm doing. That's how I keep moving forward because I just don't see the value of getting upset. When I was younger, it used to upset me. I'd be like, dang, what's her problem? But then now I'm just like, she's on her own path. If she needs to be on ESPN, let her go on and be on ESPN. But when I get there, I'm gonna bring people with me. So that's how I feel about it.
Awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. 'Cause a lot of time people just might have their own personal issues dealing with their own personal problems, and they take on everybody else, and then that's when you like trying to figure out like what the hell did I do, and then it's really honestly not even you, it's just something person they going through or something they dealt with, and now they're like, oh well, I dealt with it, and this person got to deal with it too, which is in the right way, but a lot of people move like that, not just in sports but in life, unfortunately. So, yeah, so let's jump into our next topic dealing with thoughts on equal pay.
Run me my money.
You said what?
Run me my
No, that's right.
Hey, Emily.
Well, I think it's a very important issue, something that's still very relevant, unfortunately, in 2025. I wish it wasn't anymore, but here we are. We kind of talked a little bit earlier about how more and more women are breaking into the sports industry, and it's obviously a very male-dominated field, and we're fighting to kind of show our worth and show what we bring to the table and how equal we are. And I think obviously equal pay, that should be a standard. That should be something that we don't have to fight for anymore. And the fact that we're, still having to have these conversations with, male friend coworkers to make sure that we're all getting the same equal benefits, it's ridiculous, Anybody else want to jump in? I think it's kind of a nuanced topic, and there's not too much to say other than it should be a standard, and unfortunately it's not yet.
No, Emily, you nailed it. Honestly, it's like we're still having this conversation. You hate to still have it, and hate that we still have to fight for it, but we just got to keep fighting for it because it is about the equal pay for us. We are doing great things and can do what anyone else does, right? So it's only right. You still see the disparity in the WNBA. You still see it in women's soccer, how they're just fighting, and like finally now it's seen as like, what took you so long, right? So for me, as far as in my space, I just try to have do my research and find out what is the competing, salary or pay, right? Within the industry and like present that. And you already know that there's a disparity. So what I'm telling you is fact. That's all over we sit every day. But then just make sure you meet me here. And don't try to meet me at the bottom. I need you to meet me at the top, right? To ensure that I'm compensated fairly based on my worth and my value. So, it's just a lot of doing the research and also in the sense of, I know it's hard to have a conversation about being transparent, but like you got to have those conversations. So to ensure that's where the allyship comes in, right? To make sure that you are being compensated fairly. But we just got to keep pushing. I know the fight maybe get tiresome, but until we are seeing equally in that and getting paid, then we just still have to continue to do what we got to do. And we see change happening along the way.
You talked about like, obviously, communication. I know Gilbert Arenas talked about it one time, but like obviously just dealing with podcasting with Joe Budden. He asked him like how much he was making. A lot of times people try to gatekeep what they're making when really you shouldn't, because he brought up a great point where he said like, I just need to know what you're getting, so I know like what I need to ask, because that's how you don't get lowball, because the market price, market value. As you talking about, research is very crucial, and you can let me know what you think about this. I always tell people when you like dealing with contract negotiations, never make the first offer, let them make it, and then you have the counter. It's like, oh, this is the number that I'm looking at, and this is what obviously everybody else in the field is making. This is where I need to be at because my experience and things of that nature. That's why I try to tell people, my students, like, yeah, never make the first offer, let them make it, and then you just have your counter arguments to it, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
But
I
Vonora?
think Stacy and Emily definitely hit the nail on the head. It's the research, it's the conversations, it's continue. Just you have to continue doing that because no matter what job it is, sports or private sector, public sector, whatever it is, you need to know what your job pays and know the range, especially in the area you are, because the area also is important to that. So having that range, having your number going into those negotiation meetings, and also those even when you get your offer letter, like you said, I never would take the first offer, and I always believe that no one should because they're going to give you the lesser of everything. So with like it really pisses me off, especially with the WNBA, how talented young ladies are, and the worst NBA player make more. That's crazy to me. So it's just like having the conversations, continue to talk about them, even when people don't want to hear them. Keep having them.
Those WNBA contractors, the Biz, I know Caitlin Clark came in the league with making first year 77,000. That's someone account executive at like a what's the one of them big time like Enterprise is making or something of that nature. It's like, yeah, that's crazy but professional. That's why a lot of these women having to go over to
Have to go
overseas, yeah, to make
Yep.
up for the loss of the money. But luckily, now we got Unrivaled, which I love that league with Nafisa Kali and Stewie. Create a league where they give these more generated money, as well as was pretty cool for them to play 1-on-1 for 200K. And then I also thought it was pretty cool that there was also the players on the team of the player that won gets 10K, which is interesting because now they had something to cheer for. But you can also talk about what are your thoughts on Unrivaled League as well, and
I'll
how
let
can this help
someone else
women's sports?
take this
Sorry, you
one
go,
off.
Emily.
Oh, we
I
check.
was gonna let someone else take this one away.
Oh, okay.
I think we all agree it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm watching
Yep.
hey, just dope. Like, let's go. And I love that they have the opportunity here. Like you mentioned to it, like women they play and they go overseas to keep the money coming in. But like, no, I think it's brilliant. And that goes to show you the evolution of women's sports, right? Like I think it's awesome. I'm happy that we have it. I need to make my way to a game. I haven't found it yet, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's like now they always want to say like a lot of people aren't coming out, and now you see that's the people actually showing up to the Unrivaled games. Even WNBA, viewership was up this year. Obviously, you get more premier players than Juju coming in a few years. So it's, women's sports is bright, especially basketball and softball and volleyball. We continue to have these other sports as well, growing. So,
What about you, Vonora? What do you think about Unrivaled?
I love it.
um,
The fact that I have a colleague that's there right now. She was so excited. She's like, I'm going to Unrival, I'm covering it. I said, girl, that's what I'm talking about. Get it out there and make sure we all hear it. Because I love it. I think it's necessary because we got all these other tournaments that, yeah, again, I like basketball like the next person. But also now I'm seeing the women out there getting some money. Yes, absolutely. I'm here for it.
because I was talking to Dr. Stu yesterday. She's talking about like the UFL, like leagues like that. People that keep trying to force this on people. Nobody really. Well, obviously, it's a supplement from NFL football, but I don't know if you guys can attest to it. But I watched one of those games last year, and I was like, yeah, this is god awful. I can't watch this no more. But
It's a mess. But I cover it, but it's a mess. I'm not gonna lie. It's so whack. It's so boring.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch it. Okay, so I'm not missing anything.
Oh, you're
you're
not
missing
missing anything. You might better watch high school football. That's how I feel about it sometimes. But I'm just like,
High school girl.
well, let me shut up. I'm going to get my coin. But at the same time,
Please secure the coin. We heard.
we get the coin, but we're like, while we're there.
Then, so the next question is, what are your thoughts on women's sports, and where do you see it growing in the next 5 years, as well as where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Well, I think women's sports leagues in general are just exploding. Obviously, we just talked a little bit about the WNBA and everything that players like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have brought to it, just making it really at the forefront of people's minds. I think it was last year actually that the women's March Madness had more viewership than the men's March Madness, and that was incredible. And then you also see different leagues popping up, like the Women's National Hockey League has been created. That's been exploding. It's been so awesome to watch. We're talking about Unrivaled, and it's just all of this growth, all of it is just snowballing, and more people are paying attention to women's sports, which is amazing. And I think on the opposite effect, that's also bringing more attention to more women trying to get into sports business, which is bringing obviously more women into the sports industry and the workforce, bringing more perspectives to the table. And all of it is just such a positive impact that's growing and growing and building off of each other.
Definitely.
Emily nailed it. Like I said, I was going to say anything else, but it's it's women's sports is taking off. Like it's almost like it's about time, right? That you see us in the greatness, and we're just going to keep getting better and better. For me, just looking at, like I said, I didn't when I wanted to start my career in sports, I wanted to be an agent. Like I didn't have a woman to see like what that to take me on that path. But look how many agents we have now. Look how many women coaches we have now. I think Adam Lockwood, Philadelphia Eagles, right? She just got a ring. That's the first person that comes to my mind. But there are other female coaches, like coaches. Becky Hammond, I remember she was the first in at the Spurs in the NBA. Like that was just groundbreaking. We got referees, we have GMs. Let's go. We got scouts. It's just gonna keep getting better and better. It's gonna keep evolving. Then you have these leagues coming up. You have Unrivaled. Then you have, like she already mentioned about the WNBA and March Madness and the women's the ratings. I think recently there was a game in 2024 in April. There's a women's hockey league where they broke a record for 21,000 in attendance that came to that game in Canada. So it's just gonna keep getting better and better. I'm happy for it, and also too, as she stated, she killed it. So I don't even have to add any more. But with this new awareness and seeing women in this space, more women are going to come and join and be a part of it. So it's providing more opportunity, right? And taking that ceiling away, which is providing more diversity of who's at the table versus it just being, the usual. I'll say that.
Definitely. Obviously, seeing more diversity, obviously going to see in this boardroom and leadership aspects that we see like women's sports continue to grow. So now they're seeing the efforts and importance of it. Whereas back in the day, you might like dealing with subjective or selective bias. Emily, you can test in this, dealing with like writers and editors, they might feel as though people might want to see women's sports because that's their own bias, and they might push that on everybody else, sports fans. When that's right now, as we can see with the numbers, that's not the case. So you can't even like make that bias statement more because you can't. Like I was people, you can have your own opinions, you can't have your own facts, and obviously the data, it's like showing like more people are watching women's sports now. So even if you don't like it, I'm talking about from the men aspect, like you ain't got no choice but to talk about it and view it. So, I like how they applying pressure on a lot of these haters now, and they got no choice but to talk about women's sports, particularly on ESPN. Some of them was always, shy away from it, but now they ain't got no choice but to talk about it. Vonora?
Absolutely. I piggyback on pretty much what Emily and Staci said, because the fact that just the more opportunities, the more jobs, the changes of the league, the growth that's happening in women's sports is not this motion is continue to keep going forward. Like you said, ESPN has to talk about it now. It's not something that you see on ESPN 3, 4, that go all the way. No, it's on ESPN 1, it's on Get Up, it's on First Take. It's what's the popping topic because that's very growing. And as an industry, we're seeing more women even getting jobs, seeing more women on TV. Besides being the cute girl on TV, it's more like she got something else to say, and also she can debate just like these other men can debate. So just seeing how that's growing, I love it, and it's just like I only see it just continuing.
Well, other question: where do you see yourself in 5 years in sports?
Still pushing to the top, I
Yeah.
think working in sports is interesting. You don't really see as frequent of steps to the next level. So just continuing to try to make an impact, try to not only on, myself and my immediate department and trying to move forward, but also on other women that come into this building, trying to connect with them and help them with their own journeys and just all of us pushing to the top together.
Yes.
Good job, Staci.
I this is it's a tough one because like you said, you enter space, sports, the world is small. So usually when you need to evolve your career, you have to go from team to team, right? Because if you with a good organization, they probably be there for 30 years, they're not leaving. So you have to navigate that. But ideally I would like to be a president of a team. So that's not, I don't know. I mean, if it happened in 5 years, let's go. But that's the end game for me. We'll see one day. And I see it before me because my mentor, she is doing it right now with the Kansas City Current. So I could see it, and be it. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to the top.
Oh, that run that back. Vonora.
I definitely see myself next 5 years like on either on camera or on the radio, having my own sports show on the area, taking it up, talking my talk, and being my authentic self and bringing on even more sports personalities, sports professionals on as well. So again, to keep uplifting others, because I'm all about uplifting and taking care of the community, and just also seeing the community be taken care of by our athletes that become professional, our sports personalities become professional, showing these kids is more than just one avenue to get to your goal.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, obviously, advocation, and just showing like like I talked about earlier, representation with you being a woman in media, just showing the other women, like younger girls, see you and they're like, okay, I could be a part of that. Because as I talked about earlier, like if you see your representation of someone that looks like you say, oh, I got a chance of doing this as well. So it's a great point. My next segment is talking about the day-to-day life of your job. You guys touched on it a little bit. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
Yeah, I'll just talk a little bit about my responsibilities just in the communications and PR department. So I myself specifically in my department, I'm in kind of an interesting role because generally our department's split into two. We have the business communication side and the football communication side, but I get to have a hand in both sides as well as kind of orchestrating our game day press operation, which is awesome. So during the season, there's a lot of coaches' press conferences, locker room availability, prepping players for media that are coming in, as well as working with our corporate partnerships department, marketing, community relations, generating press for their initiatives that they have going on. So working in communications, it's really awesome. I really get to be a part of everything going on in the building and have a hand in every pot and be able to, make a little bit of an impact everywhere. Lots of long hours, but like I said, I love what I do, so it doesn't really feel like work. There's been a lot of days where I look up, it's 6:30 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought it was 3 o'clock. I gotta get out of here. But yeah, it's awesome. And then on game day, it's a lot of orchestrating interviews between players and media. Um, Working with credentials, making sure people get up to the press box, making sure photographers on the field aren't doing anything they're not supposed to, but lots of different fun responsibilities. I work with a lot of different groups and a lot of different people. So really every day is a little bit different than the one before.
So yeah, I love photography because they love getting away, particularly on the basketball court. But yeah, definitely. Like you talk about, if you love what you do, you don't even like notice the time, which is always good. 'Cause a lot of time people don't love what they do, always looking at the clock, and it's like only an hour goes by. Whereas like, you love what you do, you look and see it's 6:30 instead of 3. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Stacy.
It's not enough hours in a day. Ooh. So as Emily stated, like my team, we touch everything. She knows, like you touch all of it because like every part goes into the membership and them having a good time. So I guess I would say my job is like I feel like I'm the liaison between like, a organization, carrying an organization goals, and I just gotta make sure my team has what they need to execute the goals, right? And I set them up for success. So it is building relationships and retention, but on any given day, I could get, hey, someone called because they didn't like how the parking route was changed. So now I need to go get with leadership. We need to go talk to the parking director, be like, why did you change the route? My premium member's upset because they used to come in this gate, but now they gotta go at this gate and now they're stuck in traffic and they can't park. Like, or food, like looking at we touch everything. So from the culinary experience to the in-game experience to marketing, when we talk about campaigns and run and understanding our members and strategy, I always say, I'm dating myself again. You want to go where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. So for us to do that, we need data. We got to do contracts. So I need to get with legal. We got to work with the app. Every piece you can imagine that a member touches, we deal with. So it can be, like I said, it can be. I just gave you because we had a game yesterday, so that's something that could have potentially came up. But it's all encompassing. So I just make sure I give them what they need, make sure we're building relationships, make sure they're checking in, make sure everything is executing an agreement. Because when you have agreement with a member, it outlines things that needs to be fulfilled. So it's a lot because I'm over, some teams break it down like, okay, they have luxury, they have premium, and they have general. Like I'm over all of that for my teams. So like I'm responsible for all that retention to make sure next year when it's time for them to renew their contract to sign up again, they do it because they had an incredible experience. There's value in their membership and want to be a part of the brand. So yeah, it changes from day to day.
Many hats, but that's pretty cool though. Be able to deal with both sides and make sure all customers and clients are happy. But that's pretty interesting that you got to obviously, of course, I'm not dealing with contract, but it's pretty interesting you got to talk with the marketing team too, because I never thought about that. Like, someone might get angry that something got changed, some small thing, and then they go crazy about something minimal. But I get it. Sometimes when you're used to a particular thing, you want to stick with that same routine. So.
I also think I have influence on like our football, basketball, hockey operations. Like, why did you trade? I'm like, I didn't do that.
Right.
Why did you take him again? Why did you bitch? You need to go talk. You want me to go talk to Pat Riley? Okay. You want me to ask Pat Riley why he didn't play so and so? Okay. Why did we trade? Huh? But it's so I taught the hockey ops too. When we have player events, but you would think the GM we are everything. We're best friends, we're counselors, like all, all of it.
Gotta have all the different hats.
Yeah.
Vonora.
My day-to-day is usually ESPN, Bleacher Report, Twitter. I gotta know what's going on, who's doing what's moving here, so that when we talk about it, I gotta know what I'm talking about. I hate going on any type of show and not knowing what the heck I'm doing because that just drives me crazy. And I'm not really good at freestyling at the last second. I'm like, yeah. So like I'm always my phone's always bleeping all day because like ESPN did this, ESPN, like, oh dang. Like that's pretty much it so that I can keep up what's going on, keep up with other people that are talking about different things in sports. But I try to, since I both focus on basketball and football, especially right now with these trades.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
a little
always
crazy.
constant.
There's a lot going on.
When it slows down, it's slow. I'm like, okay, it's cool. I have to like, I like a good time when it's like peace, especially when I'm juggling things back and forth.
Once you're able to, deal with many things on your plate, that's when it gets easier. So yeah, I definitely understand that with a lot of juggling and just, staying focused and disciplined so you don't, mess anything up or keep your routine going. Now we jump to the last few topics, dealing with your lowest and biggest moment in sports.
Well, I'll start with my biggest first. Obviously the Eagles just won the Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. Go
That's
Birds.
Yeah, go Birds. That was an incredible moment. I was a part of so many new experiences the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, and then obviously the moment on the field when the clock finally hit zero. That was without a doubt, the highlight of my career thus far. Um, I would say one of the I don't know if I'd call it a low because I think all of it is important experience, especially in PR. But I would say one of the more difficult parts of my career would be last season. We started the season 10-1 and then lost the last 7 games. I think with the exception of one game. It The only reason I say it's difficult is because although like we're not on the field, we can't control what happens on the field. We have to respond to it in the media, and I'm sure Staci can kind of relate to this talking to clients. And she brought up the point about clients being upset about trades and all that. Well, we're not the ones doing it, but we have to respond to it, and we have to make sure that the organization is in a good light. And so it gets difficult, and it's a balance, but obviously in the end, it's all worth it.
It is.
Listen.
For me, my highest moment was the Florida Panthers won a Stanley Cup championship last year. We'll see what happens this season. That was my highest moment. I have worked for a couple teams as I've shared, and I've come so close to getting a ring, and it hurts when you get there and just like, no, sorry, they won. So I finally got a ring. So that's like my highest moment, truly. This is funny. This is a joke. I don't like we do a lot and things happen. I wouldn't say it's a low. I don't know if I really had a low point. It's just like day to day you navigate things. Like, being a woman in sport, concept that you gotta prove yourself. Those aren't low moments, just something that you just don't want to have to deal with all the time, right? But we have to do it. This is a joke. This is my low moment. So everyone knew me. They like, okay, Staci wants a ring. This will be her first ring, right? Yeah. Couldn't wait. I don't even know if I watched game 7. I was like hiding in the office, like I can't take another heartbreak. So close. So when I was with the Heat, they hired me after they won their championship. So everyone thinks I had a ring. And I'm like, I do not have a ring. So every time people go, oh, let me see your championship ring. I'm like, I don't have a ring. So they think I have a ring, but I don't. So like everywhere I go, you'll go to the Heat, you'll see me in pictures like with my team because they hired me after the championship. My whole team got a ring, but I did. And it's not a low moment. It's just like I can't, everyone thinks I have one and I don't. I wasn't a part of the championship team. They hired me after. I wanted it so bad. Like, please hire me so I could be a part of the fun now. But no, they're like, no, 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 no. We're gonna hire you after. Hired me after, but they definitely made me a part of all the celebrations. So it was great to see that championship mentality and be a part of it. I remember them like some of the players shake my hand, like congratulations. I'm like, I didn't do anything, but I'm happy to be here. But yeah, that's the funny part. Like I said, it's not a low moment, but it's like, y'all, stop saying I have one. I don't have one, but now I can't say that I finally got one.
Yeah. I saw you posted one time. Like, that's a big, nice little championship ring. So hopefully y'all can run it back.
It's hard, man. I think
Yes.
that not to disrespect any other team, like winning a championship is very hard, but I think winning a cup in the NHL is probably the hardest thing to do. And then to go back to back, I don't like it's hard. Like you on ice, you on skates, y'all fighting, you got sticks, you got a puck. Like I think that's the hardest championship to win. No disrespect to other sports. I love all of it, but like seeing them battle, I'm like, yo, hey, we gotta do it. See, now I'm talking, I'm rambling because I love sports, clearly, but sorry, we'll stop.
Yeah. Vonora?
I will say the lowest point was trying to podcast during COVID. It was so hard because there was nothing going on, and I still had to meet my numbers. I had a contract. I had to make sure I put out a podcast every week. And it was just like, man, I'm watching Korean baseball and I'm talking about it on a podcast. And then, like my viewers were like, I got a few DMs like, man, you're bored. I'm like, no, this is what I have to do. And
Yeah.
within that low time, I lost my mom during that time. So I had a
Sorry.
podcast episode about like, okay, I missed one week and I explained why. But I would say also that was a really high moment because the import of like, wow, you're speaking to exactly what I'm going through. And it was like, because that time was just an awful time for everybody. But it was just like those DMs were like the ones that I was like, oh my God, I'm actually making an impact. Yeah, I thought I'm just talking and talking and joking and joking. But that was like my high and my low because it was like, damn, I'm at my lowest personally, but it impacted and made people listen and tune in. And that was one of my highest rating episodes. And I was just like, and like now I can laugh about it. I'm like, damn, like y'all didn't like when I was talking about the Super Bowl, but just like when I was in pain. But like it was just like great that it was just great that it impacted people. So that was my high and my low at the same time.
Those vulnerable moments when people really like connect, because they see like the humanistic side of you. Like, obviously, time in media, we're just talking solely about sports. When we talk about obviously our personal lives, it might be a little uncomfortable to talk about, but once we do, somebody else might be dealing with the same thing, and it's like, oh, I can relate to that. So yeah,
Um, Vonora, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry about the loss of your mom. I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
You made me think about something though. Again, this is a funny thing. COVID. Oh my God. Like, can you imagine trying to renew members during COVID when it's no
Oh,
basketball and we
yeah,
still processing payments? So a funny thing I really say will go, but the funny you made me think about it, like having virtual fans in the bubble. So like I remember getting with like the app and digital and virtual whatever to figure out how to get virtual fans on the TV to watch Saint games in a bubble to create a fan environment. That was wild.
I
yeah,
can only
that was a
imagine.
fun
Oh my
experience for
goodness.
y'all.
That was wild. We're in there like putting people in and turning your camera on like during COVID so you can look like they're at a game watching on TV, but they're at home. Yeah, that was crazy.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah, those were fun times.
Oh
That
yeah.
is over. So the last part is just like closing remarks, and then I know you guys put in the chat earlier just for the viewers to know where they can follow you at on social media.
Um, I was gonna say I don't have it. This is great, Rob.
Yeah, This
You.
was
Yes,
awesome.
No
thank
problem.
you.
Appreciate y'all
I
coming on.
loved learning about all of your backgrounds and just the journey that you've had so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where you guys go from this. It's awesome. I love just connecting with people around different leagues and around the industry in general, and it's always so I don't know. I think it's important to hear about other people's backgrounds and their journeys getting to where they're going. Like Vonora was saying how she was like, "Oh, I wish I did that. I wish I did this." When Staci and I were talking about our backgrounds, but I think your background is just as inspiring, if not more inspiring, you know? I mean, you've really like brought yourself up and built everything that you have. I mean, it's awesome. I love hearing about all this and looking forward to supporting you guys.
Absolutely.
And if the Rangers don't make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, I will be rooting for the Panthers.
Thank you, Emily.
I think you guys knocked us off last year, actually. But
Yeah,
Yep, they did.
yeah.
it was time. It was I was waiting. I was like, I couldn't take it because we went to game 7 last year. We got bumped. I'm like, no. Um, but no, I am going to connect with you all. So definitely drop in the chat. I would love to connect with you all. Thank you, Rob, for this opportunity. This was a pleasure. I enjoyed connecting and learning from Emily and Venora because like I said, it's stuff that I've learned from you just in this conversation and also want to continue to support you in everything. And Venora, like I said, you are doing it like so many young women are going to like admire you. Like I am. Like I wish I can get on Twitter and go back and forth and get in on a stat game and like talk about and go back and forth and talk about sports. Like that's dope. And that you've also found your path into your podcast and then you work with ESPN. Like that is phenomenal. So many people aspire to be in your position. So keep doing it and let us know how we can support you for sure. And even look where you're gonna grow, how your career's gonna excel, like all of that. Just in true women empowerment. Let's go. I love it and happy that we're able to connect here in this space. So, Rob, thank you for doing this because it wouldn't be here without you. And congrats on what you're doing because you got a lot going on too. And I hope you get to March Madness as a ref, right? That's the goal.
Both. Appreciate y'all coming on. No problem. Venora.
Well, thank you, Rob, so much for having me on your platform today. It means the world that you reached out to me to bring me on because, like, that means you stay in the work. So I love that. Thank you, Emily and Stacey. You guys got me all emotional. Yeah, I don't like that, but like, thank you for those beautiful words. Like, I think you guys are just so amazing. I love the fact that you guys are in your careers and thriving in them and enjoying them because that's something I wanted to just see people actually enjoying this sports career. I see people that don't like it, but I'm like seeing these YouTube beautiful young ladies enjoying it. It's just like keeps making me want to keep doing what I'm doing instead of like, nah, I can just sit down. But like, I really appreciate all those beautiful things you say and just getting to hear about your guys' stories, hear about what you do and how you impact the game. I just love it, and I really want to connect with y'all. And for all those out there, like, just keep doing your big one. Just keep doing what you gotta do. Keep going after those dreams. That's why I believe, and just yeah,
Thank you.
keep shooting for those stars.
Yeah, did y'all give y'all social media?
Oh, shoot, my fault.
We got Instagram, y'all. So I'm gonna do better. My daughter, she goes to the University of Miami. And she keeps telling me to get on LinkedIn. So like while she's on spring break, I'm gonna give her something to do.
Okay. Emily?
But thank
Sorry,
okay.
what was that?
Let me grab it right. Let me do that really.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was
My Instagram and my Twitter is Nora, Nora_Natish, Natish. And you guys we can all connect on there. I have my own sports Twitter page, but I can't remember the name of it right now. But like I go back and forth. So
you said it's Nora underscore?
yeah, Nora_Natish, Natish.
Yo, you're putting in the chat too, Nora. They put theirs in the chat earlier.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, got it.
I definitely will follow both of you ladies and we definitely wanna see how you guys are doing.
Emily.
I appreciate you guys, Thanks for coming on. And if you ever have anyone else that you would recommend, always feel free to shoot out, send an email, or most of you guys follow me on social media, then send me a message. So appreciate you guys coming on. And then let me stop.
All right.
Thank you.